Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to School Talk. And today we have lovely panelists and five of them. And they'll be talking to us today on excelling in your first coursework, insights from these trailblazers and a couple of our new graduates with distinctions and those that are really doing really well in their course of study. So before we just go on, my name is Okpe and manage School Talk. I'm a lecturer on business information systems at the Manchester Metropolitan University here in the United Kingdom. And I have lovely set of people with us. First and foremost, School Talk is sponsored by RCCG, My Father's House. Shout out to Pastor Sam, Pastor Sarah for giving us the platform to impact our community, our international students, home students, everyone to make sure we're excelling and actually trailblazing as we ought to, bringing in the lights. So thank you very much, our audience. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's 7 p.m. over here in Manchester. So thank you so much for all our audience that are joining us tonight and those that will catch up watching this recording. We hope you find it useful. So please feel free, relax, drop in your comments, your questions on the chat section. We're going to monitor that. And please forgive me if you see me looking at this other screen because I have to be admitting our audience or our participants into this breakout room. 9/10, I love it when we have it on our Instagram live. By the way, please follow us on our Instagram is at schooltalk_MCR. I love it many times when we have our Instagram live, but I didn't know how best to handle 5 different people with the Instagram live. I felt it was going to be too rowdy. So that's why we're doing it on this Zoom. But we'll tell you where you find the recording of this session. Okay, so without me, I don't want to start boring you with these boys, but really you have lovely voices that you're going to hear from all through the night in next 90 minutes or less. So I would want my panelists to kindly introduce yourselves. I'll start with Joy. Joy Zita, how are you this evening? You're muted. And everyone looking. So what I'm going to do is, hi Joy, how you
Hi,
doing?
good evening. I'm well, thank you. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Damilola, Bukola, Daisy. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Joy Zita. I'm a mom, and I am a graduate of Manchester Metropolitan MSc Human Nutrition and Dietetics. Okay, remove the dietetics part. Just human nutrition. I currently work with the NHS as a dietetic assistant practitioner. I joined School Talk when I came into Manchester, and that's why it looks as though I'm inviting all of you to School Talk. I know Dami came from me, I know Bola came from me. So I'm kind of inviting you to the very platform that set me on course to excelling in my MSc. So you're welcome once again.
Oh, thank you. What a nice shout out to School Talk. Thank you very much. And Dami, Bukola, we hope you actually gain lots of benefits from School Talk. It's a community, a safe space where we can actually share knowledge, we can mentor one another, we can actually sort of help each other, and especially those that have gone through the system, tell you that don't make this mistake or make sure you do this and that, and sort of passing on the torch. So at the end of the day, we are at the top and we're excelling, and together we are all succeeding. So thank you. Thank you for the warm introduction, Joy. Thank you. Efe, how are you?
I'm very fine. Thank you, Dr. Okpere, for the privilege given to speak to the audience. My name is Omoy Efiosawayi, basically. I would like by saying I've had close to about 16 years of my post-education work in the financial industry. I graduated from Manchester Metropolitan University. I did a master's in business analytics. At the moment, I'm still trying to get the perfect fit in terms of job, basically, for myself in the UK. So currently, I work for the NHS as a support worker, basically working as a bank staff. So that's basically what I do for the now. So I would like to say the school talk is basically the best community, one of the best community in the UK you can actually be part of, in the sense that I have in the past had to draw strength from the community, which are some of the things I've been leveraging on today. So I would like to welcome every one of you that's here that have taken time out to participate and I ask, and I hope you have the very best of the time. Thank you once again for coming.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Efe. Thank you very much. And my next panelist is Lydia. Hi, Lydia. Can you tilt
Hi.
your
Yeah,
okay.
sorry. Hi, Dr. Kwe, and hi, everyone.
Hello.
It's so nice to be here. I'm so happy to, of course, I'm grateful for the opportunity as well to be part of the panelists. And so my name is Lydia Daramola, and I graduated from University of Salford, where I studied procurement, logistics, and supply chain management. And my initial background was in economics education, actually. And I was an education consultant for roughly 10 years after my first degree in 2010. So before moving to UK last year. And so it's like a new field for me, procurement, supply chain. And currently I work as a customer service advisor at Co-op. And that's what I've been doing since last year, November, that I came in. I'm actually blessed to even get a job, because it was the same month I resumed I got that job. So right now I'm just trying to, because Co-op is huge, I'm trying to go into supply chain now. I've been in touch with like some of the managers. I've been just trying to leverage on some of the relationships I've built over the past 1 year. And yeah, so it's been such an interesting one. I'm thankful for School Talk platform, such a huge and an absolute blessing. I don't know if I'll mention it along the line. When I had my visa issue, Dr. Pe was aware, but I had to go back to Nigeria to apply for my. So, but anyways, that's that's a story on the side. Yeah. So.
Awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you very much, Lydia. Lovely to have you here. So my apologies once again for those that just joined us. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful panel with this wonderful panelists. Tonight we'll be talking on excelling your first coursework. So many times you might see my eyes going there. I'm admitting more people to join us on this Zoom. So yeah, thank you. And the other person I want him to introduce himself is Efe.
So what?
Efe, I want you to introduce yourself to the
Okay.
panel.
Okay, I thought I did.
Sorry,
I thought I did. But anyway, I can. If you want me to do that, that won't be a problem. My name is Omo. My name is Omo Efe. Like, I think my voice is much louder now. My name is Omo Efe Sanwo-Yi, basically. I graduated from Manchester Metropolitan University. I had a master's degree in business analytics. I actually graduated 2022. Yeah, I came in 2021, and I would say it's been awesome, basically, for me. Proud to come into UK. I had the privilege of working in the financial industry for close to about 16 years. So basically, I have expertise in lending and credit analysis. So at the moment, I'm still trying to get a perfect job. Basically, I've basically been applying, still trying to get the right job that aligns with my career. So that's it for me. So for everyone that's on this platform, I would say you're welcome. This is a community to be part of.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. My apologies, don't mind me. Agogo, what have
Oh,
you
it's
done?
okay.
I'm going to mention your name all through the
I
night.
think I think that was a way of waking me up. I think I was kind of sleeping.
Hey,
Hi everyone.
hello.
My name is Agogo. I graduated from University of Salford last year, masters in financial technology. Prior to that, I worked in a financial institution at Access Bank in Nigeria. And then post my MSc, I work at HSBC. Currently leading impairment modeling and stress testing, basically. And I think it's a privilege to be here to share insights and basically experience with everyone.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Agogo. And sorry, apologies. And last but not least, Jessica.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. You're very welcome to School Talk. My name is Jessica. I finished from the University of Salford. I just finished this year. I came in last year. So I finished from University of Salford, did an MSc in biomedical science. Before that, I graduated from my undergrad. My undergrad was in biomedical science also. And then after that, I worked for a little over 2 years, almost 3 years, before I came to the UK to do my master's in the same thing. So I wasn't too comfortable changing completely with a master's. That was because I really wanted to practice more in my field, because I know everybody is changing and switching to tech. But I just really wanted to practice more and gain more like ground knowledge in my own field, what I've been doing for 5 years plus. So, and then it just got really interesting when I started working before I came to do my master's. So that's why I picked a master's in biomedical science. I'm happy I did. I enjoyed it more as like during the course of the master's. And school talks, they saved my life. School talks saved my life in this UK. So Dr. Kwe was like the very first person I met when I came to this UK. I was stranded. I was crying. I did not know where my school was. I was looking for my school. I was trying to get my ID card. It was Dr. Kwe I met on that very first day. So, and then they've just been holding my hand through the 1 year and even now. So I highly recommend School Talk. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone. In fact, I think the way everyone has really been hyping School Talk, oh gosh, thank you. We're all ambassadors and it's lovely. So everyone joining us, as I mentioned earlier, is a community whereby we have a shared vision of actually impacting each other's lives, enabling one another, supporting a safe space, whatever it is, in any way we can help you to succeed. So this is us, we're a family, we're a unit. So please get in touch. We are very much accessible. If you're in Manchester Met, I work at Manchester Met, we could get coffee, tea, or maybe sometime we can plan something together, have lunch as a whole unit, one body. So thank you so much, my lovely panelists. Honestly, I can't thank you enough. These guys, they've taken out their time, busy. You can imagine on a Friday, but honestly, they want to give back, and that's the beauty of it all, giving back. Agogo, this is the second time Agogo has come to give back again, so I'm really grateful, everyone. Thank you so much. All right, so what I'm going to do now is first of all, housekeeping, please, if you have questions, you can put it on the chat. You can raise your hands if you want to actually discuss it directly with the panelists. And of course, disclaimer, we are not all-knowing. We are not professional legal persons, and obviously, whatever it is, anything about coursework that we're going to give to you here, please do make sure you follow the instructions in your respective universities, So these are just guidance as much as possible, but speak to your supervisors, speak to your tutors, look at what the guidance are within your own university so that you're following the rules accordingly. But nonetheless, pick whatever you're able to pick here, and let's see how useful it will help you in your journey throughout your degree. All right, so I would, my first question is to Joy. Hello, Joy. So I know I'm just like using the sledgehammer on the nail, like boom. Can you give us a run through on how you handled your assessment, from when you were being given to submission, a very quick pam, 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 just as concise as possible?
Okay, so I remember when I was in so the first thing I said was that I was a mom, or I'm a mom. And that realization made me know that I did not have time. You don't have time as a mom. Once you have a toddler in the house, you don't have time, because half the time you're running after somebody not to break your TV or not to spill the milk on the floor. So I realized I didn't have time. So when I think the first lecture I had, I met the lecturer. Her name is Linda Bush. She's actually the first lecturer for human nutrition. She's in Manchester Metropolitan. So I met her. She was talking really fast. And I knew I had to start catching up and listening really fast. Because I know that a lot of us Nigerians, we don't hear this very fast speech like that. So I had to, okay, so this is how I needed to have a one-on-one with her so I can just assess whether I can hear very well or not. So when I had the one-on-one with her, I knew that, okay, my listening has to be in this frequency for me to be able to hear what this woman was saying. And it was quite recently that I learned that someone actually told me that she failed the course because she could not hear the woman. The woman was talking very fast. I said, you could have said something. So please, the first thing you do when you're giving an assessment, assess the lecturer first. Is this lecturer approachable? Can I discuss aspects of my assessment with this lecturer? Because I first of all had to ask the woman, okay, so if I do my introduction, will you look at it? If I do this part, will you look at it? And then she said, oh, she doesn't look at every part. You can just do it and then she will look through it and give you feedback. I knew that, okay, this one, maybe she don't have time or she not go look at. And I picked that and then I said, okay, what I'm going to do is to get my work ready. By the time she will be asking for drafts, my work will be ready. I will give her my draft and I will get feedback. So please assess the lecturer first. Make sure you assess the lecturer. The lecturer is assessing you. So you have to do your own assessment somehow. The next thing I did was to start on time. I was discussing with Dr. Ope and the others on Sunday what you do for 1 hour every day. At the end of 30 days, you have invested 30 hours in that same thing. And there's no how you invest 30 hours in something that you don't do it perfectly. All right. So invest time in your assessment. Start early. If you don't start early, you are going to rush. And when you start rushing, you start missing the point, because during the lectures, the lecturers always tell you, oh, this is what I'd like to see. This is what I'd like to see. And even if they don't say this is what I'd like to see, there's this particular thing they might be hammering on. They might be talking about that thing. So you just know that, okay, this is what they probably are interested in. So start early so that you don't rush and miss out on the things that the lecturer has said that they would like to see. If it's 30 minutes every day, maybe you can do it after you come back from your shifts, because I know, of course, we are going for shift. I was going for shifts. When I come back by maybe 9 p.m., I sit on my computer for 1 hour. Even if it's just reading a paragraph from the journals I want to write with, I'm okay. I'll go and sleep. By the next day, I'm waking up with ideas. I have my pen and my paper. I start writing. 1 paragraph, 2 paragraph, 3 paragraphs. You'll get your ball rolling from there. So please start early. Another thing is, I'm going to be a little bit technical. Know how many paragraphs you want to use per chapter. Let's say for an introduction, for a 3,500 word assignment, your introduction shouldn't be more than 5 paragraphs. Whatever the topic is, divide the topic into 5. Maybe they are talking about, sorry, because I come from the nutrition background, I'm going to use a nutrition example. Malnutrition in school-aged children in Manchester. I'll talk about malnutrition. I'll talk about data about malnutrition, how many children are malnourished in the world. I will not narrow it down to Manchester. I'll talk about Manchester in another paragraph. How many children are malnourished in Manchester? Boys, girls. In Manchester, which areas? Wythenshawe. If you live in Wythenshawe, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. It's very that place is very malnourished. So I'll say, okay, Wythenshawe. I'll write about Wythenshawe. Is the council doing anything to help the malnourished children? These are the things I write in my introduction. Your introduction, you just have to know like the 5 paragraphs or the 6 paragraphs I want to put. Let them be points. I was coming from, everybody talked about what they were doing in Nigeria. Fortunately or unfortunately for me, I was doing nutrition and marketing. I was a full-time marketing and PR manager in Nigeria. So I always come with data. So once you're doing your chapter 1, know that it's data. I want to catch this person's attention. So the person knows that I know the numbers. All right. So that's what I do. I start early. I get my numbers, number of malnourished children, number of boys, number of girls. So start early, get your numbers. Very, very important. And please don't miss any draft submission. Don't miss it at all. If you miss it, you're going to miss out on valuable feedback, because I had written 100 over 100 in my head, and then I went for feedback, and my lecturer zeroed it. She zeroed it like 0. So with the feedback that she gave me, I was able to write, and I can say I was one of the people who did well in that course. I had a distinction in the course. So please get your numbers, know how many paragraphs you're putting in your chapters, whatever you're discussing. One trick I always did for people who would come to say, oh, please, can you do for me? I will tell them what I'll do for you is a table of content. What is your topic? Give me your topic. We talk about your topic. I'll do a table of content for you. It gets easier once you are filling up that table of content.
Yeah.
1 production, 1.1, 2.1. So get your table of content, always get it. Know how many paragraphs you are putting in each subtopic. It makes your work really easy. If it's just 1 hour you can dedicate every day, don't miss it. If your time is 10 to 11 p.m., make sure you are on your desk, or if it's your phone you're using, or if it's the library, 10 to 11, be on that desk. Don't distract yourself. I mean, these are the things that worked for me.
Yeah.
I know Ugoezi is here. Ugoezi has a baby. She just gave birth. Her baby is even less than 3 months. Ugo, this particular one is for you. Just dedicate your time, all right? If it's just 1 hour you can do every day, in 30 days, I guarantee you would have finished the assessment. All right, then you can start going back to it. All right, what did I miss? What and what can I add?
Wow.
That's your assessment will be rich, and you'll be able to get the marks you deserve.
Wow, awesome. Honestly, this is good. In fact, if you decide to close right now, Joy has done justice, isn't it, everyone? Thank you so much. That's brilliant, really brilliant. There was something you mentioned which I would need to emphasize on is the supports are available, especially from your tutors. We're expecting these students to actually reach out. So the culture is different. Maybe back home, you are too scared to reach. But over here, the support, they're literally, the answers are even there. Many times for me, the assignments, we already walk through it during the seminar sessions. All I need, and in fact, Teams, you can send messages through Teams, via email. The supports are there. So please, let's embrace this support. Don't feel, I don't want this person. No, you paid your tuition fees. The teachers or your lecturers are here to actually support you. All that is missing is that communication. Hello, miss, can I just have 5 minutes, 10 minutes? When can I see you? When is your drop-in session? And they have these drop-in sessions where we have the open, the availability. Check it out and go in there. And especially because your tutors are humans in the first place, when they see the seriousness, when they see all of these things, the willingness to help comes in naturally. So please, thank you so much, Joy, for, in fact, a whole lot. And I hope everyone is taking note on this, because trust me, they will come in handy. At some point, you remember that, okay, that discipline is 9 o'clock. Even if I'm not in the mood, let me just get at it. Before you know it, your body adjusts, and then everything just comes into play. So thank you, Joy. Now quickly, Efe, please, can you share some tips on effective time management? Especially when you're working on your coursework, doing your assignment, how do we manage this time? And yeah, from different perspective, maybe now with the exchange rate that is alarming and people have to work, honestly, I really feel for so many international students. But at the same time, how do we just manage it? We have the assignments coming up, we have to work, family is there. you know. So what do you think? What tips can we run with?
Well, to be candid, it's actually a very tough time for the new members basically right now, considering, just as you said, considering what the exchange rate is saying and the various tightening of policies basically in the country. I would say my time was still a bit flexible. There's still some things that you could do and get away with, which is quite different now. And the truth is that, which I keep saying, you can't eat your cake and have it, because you have so many things to do. You have your bills to pay, you have your coursework to sort out, which is your primary aim of coming into this country in the first place. And you need to move forward, I think, after school, what next, basically. For me, you just need to we just need to prioritize, understand basically why you're here in the first place. You might not be able to do so many things, in the sense that some things will have to wait, some things will have to be deferred, so that you can get some certain things right, because you have to climb on some to get to the other. So that's basic. So you just need to, one of the things is prioritize, understand basically what you want, and um, attend to them accordingly. For example, if you have a coursework to do, one of the things I try to tell people is just have a very good dissect of basically what it is that you want to do, then break them down, just as Joy said earlier, then identify them, then start early, start on time. Don't wait till the very last day, or when it's kind of close, and which was some of the errors some of us had, because we didn't really have this opportunity from the onset. Not until later we now got, oh, this is what we would have done. We should have done this earlier. I'm sure we wouldn't have had to struggle, because we had so many things to deal with at that time when we just came in. So please, I would advise you, we prioritize, we understand basically why we're here. Then, because for example, in coursework, you have so many things. You have to be dealing with plagiarism, you have to be dealing with paraphrasing, you have to be dealing with what's the other one that I have to talk about? The percentage, basically. I think that's plagiarism, basically. So you have to be dealing with the number of counts and all that. So if you start on time, then that gives you enough room to put things in the right perspective, because as you go about your day-to-day running, because at the same time, if you're a family person, you have so many things. Also, you have school runs to deal with, you have obligations, bills, and every other things to deal with. So if you start on time, then it gives you don't have, at the end of, you don't end up having to model a lot of things together, in the sense that you're able to attend to them as they fall due, and at the same time know what it is that you need to drop. So that's one way I feel you can effectively manage your time here. Else, so many things will just come crumbling down on you. And at the end of the day, your mental stress, your mental health will be affected, and which is something which would, I think, a large number of us don't want to go through basically right now.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ife. That was very brilliant. You know, prioritization is key, honestly, and it doesn't get easier. Even when you graduate and you think, finally, no, the real world, when you're out there working, the jobs, everything is at you, because you can't focus on one and no. So our ability to be able to juggle at the same time maintaining balance while you juggle is very key. And I think it's a life skill that we need to excel in. So if we're going to be top persons in the nearest future, then this should be a skill that we're actually working on and improving ourselves on. So thank you so much for all of those insights, Ife. Agogo, you mentioned about working at Access Bank in the past. I wonder, so how did you manage the transitioning, from corporate work and sort of corporate work environment, then back to uni, studying in that school setting? How were you able to, especially in a different culture, how did you balance this sort of thing? And I'm sure, if maybe you might chip in on this at some point if anything comes in mind. So I go over to you, please.
I think it was a little bit challenging at first, right? Because I left Access Bank and I was a supervisor, so like I had a team I was leading. And then so the way you look at things when you're supervising is different from the way you look at things when you're the one that does like all the groundwork. And then you come into school and then you have to be the one that does all the groundwork. So you have to be the one to do all the research, put information together, do the writing and all of that. So it was not very easy.
Wow.
But I think like a couple of key things that I think helped me, and I think that are important to note. Like the first one is to understand the audience, right? When you're writing to your boss in the office, or when you're writing a memo in the office, it has to be, brief, concise, one page, because in the corporate environment, nobody has time to read 10 pages of something that you can put in one page. But in school, your lecturers want to know how well you've read and researched, So initially, I remember 3,000 words felt so difficult for me because I was thinking like, what else do I need to write? What else do I need to write inside? There's a whole volume of things. So understanding that the audience is different. And then that being said, right, when you understand your audience, I think a subset of that too was like understanding the lecturers, because I found out that each lecturer had a different kind of like writing style in terms of how you structure your work, right? So yes, there are general rules around word count, there are general rules around referencing, but some lecturers like you to go straight to the point. And then, your first two lines should be, straight to the point. And then after that, you build on the fact that you've started your paragraph with. Some other lecturers like you to, start with all that certain information and then land at the points that you're trying to make, right? If you mix it up and you do style A for a lecturer that prefers style B, right? And you do style B for a lecturer that prefers style A. Like you said, they are human beings. So there will always be that subconscious preferential influence, in terms of when they're reading these things that may or may not affect your marking. So it's very important to understand like who you are submitting that paper to, right? Because if you give the same 3,000 words to two different people, you might get two different results in terms of the scoring. So that's the second thing. Then I think another thing that was important for me, or something that helped me, right, is like I leveraged on my experience, right? Doing financial technology, having worked in a financial institution, right? There were courses that I had real life examples to give, and those things like kind of like it was fascinating to the lecturers, right? They found it very interesting. When you give real life examples of problems that have happened, you've experienced, how you solved it, and then relating the academic part of your research to that real life example, it really helps. If you're doing like an MBA and you're talking about strategy or leadership, you're doing a leadership course, so you're talking about strategy, right? If you've been involved in like strategic planning, if you can directly relate the theoretical aspect of strategic planning to your practical experience, lecturers do like to see these things. And then be data driven, be evidence based. Lecturers want to see that you have numbers to support, you have evidence to support what you're saying. You're not just saying things fictitiously, right? And I think I think the most important thing will be leveraging on your experience, because again, you're doing a master's, and ordinarily it's expected that you have some level of experience, before coming into it. So you have to leverage on that experience, because I think like in the academic environment, right, it's just about your thinking, your thought process, So I think those were the key things that helped me.
Wow, awesome. Thank you so much, Agogo. That is really interesting. That is in fact one
I also like to just add to what I just said. We have what we call transferable skills, basically, which we can always marry with whatever it is that we are doing. And those are some of the things I brought into play during my own program, basically, because it's fine, it was quite a not so far from basically what I've been doing, but having to start dealing with my first assessment, there was having to start dealing with internet of some of all those things are kind of abstract and strange to me, basically. Yes, I have an idea of what IoT was, but I didn't really have a very good grasp of basically what it was all about. So it was my ability to be able to bring, just as I said, the experience, some of the things I've learned, some of the practical things I've had to do and all that, those are the things that now made it quite easy for me to be able to address those assessments as they were being what's it called, delivered and all that. So and that's made it quite kind of easy for me. So let's, whatever experience, whatever skills you have, just try and bring everything in. You will certainly always find a place, a way to get them in, and it works.
Awesome.
Like
Yeah.
when I was to do an assessment, there was an assessment I had to do with what the first thing I did was like, oh, what am I going to do right now? I just said, why am I stressing myself? I just went, all the figures I've had to work on in the past and all that. Those are the data I had to put together. And at the end of the day, I was able to get something very beautiful from that assessment, because that made life quite easy for me. And I was able to effectively also manage my time without having to start thinking of where to get data from and all that. So please, if you've been opportune to work somewhere before, even if you've not worked somewhere, some of all those few experience and skills or idea you've gathered from people, try and bring them in. Certainly it will help, because those are what we call transferable skills, basically.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ife. That's brilliant. Transferable skills. Look inward and see what you can actually bring on board. And see also, you can also leverage on peer-to-peer learning. And just as Agogo has also mentioned, see how you can make use of what you have. So these are brilliant nuggets. Thank you so much, both. Lydia, how did you approach organizing and structuring your coursework to ensure that there's clarity and is also coherent, because I know many times some of the coursework that I've graded in the past is, I can see the sense in it, but it's all over the place and it's not really helpful. So that doesn't help the students get the high marks that I would have expected them to actually get. So I wonder if you could touch on clarity and coherence within the coursework.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think for me it was quite different because procurement, logistics, and supply chain, I had no experience. I had no knowledge of, whatever it's about. And like being in consulting, education consulting, that's what I did for about 10 years before coming. So it was kind of hard. But I knew that I really wanted to do this. I wanted to switch. So, it's like someone said, you can't eat your cake and have it back. So it's like, okay, I just need to get the ball rolling. So what I did first was to review the syllabus. So for us, we had the module already sent to sent via Blackboard. So we had we had something that we could work with. What I did was to review. I reviewed the module. I checked, the each topic, and then the assignments in between the teachings as well as the assessments. So that kind of gave me an overview of what I was to expect. So I knew that, okay, this is a lot of work, but then I was still giving my best anyways. Then I also created and this is me sharing my experience, hoping that would help someone to also, maybe take on or something. Then I also created a study schedule. I think Joy mentioned it, where, you have your schedule. When you come to a different country, there's a lot that, can happen at the same time. But then again, there's the major goal why you are here, and you cannot let that suffer, because of other things. So just being able to create a study schedule, even if it's 1 hour, like someone said, even if it's 30 minutes, just check, and then, especially if you don't have a background, you have to do more. if I was doing a master's in education, for example, I don't think I would have to like do so much because I have a background in that and I've done that for years, but it was a new field. So I had to like, push myself a little bit hard. Then also prioritizing and then planning. That would enable us to, or that actually enabled me to focus on things that are important. So if this is important now, I'll get it done. If it's not important, it can wait till later. So that kind of helped me to stay organized. It helped me not to like stress myself. Because if you push things backward, if you don't do what needs to be done now, it's still going to wait for you. And then you now be overwhelmed, So then another thing that helped me was taking notes. Now that was kind of hard. I think Joy also mentioned this. It was kind of hard because we have lecturers that are like from some of these European countries, and they're not even British, but it was just hard to like understand what they were saying. So I remember my first coursework, I had to, make use of my phone. I was recording, so I could listen to it later. At a point, that wasn't working because sometimes, again, I'm working, I'm getting back late, and I'm just tired, so I'm unable to like listen to it. So, but then, I think a little bit of this and that kind of helped me, So the notes that I took, I was able to like refer to it even while I was preparing my assessments. That was for the first coursework I did. I was able to refer to, so that really did help me, and then also seeking clarification. So for me, I think I got to a point where I told myself that, okay, if I approach you for help, let's say I don't understand something, you're not going to beat me. Is it that you say yes or no? And I'm the one in need of the help. So I mean, there's nothing like, oh, maybe she doesn't know anything. I mean, I know my strengths, but at the same time, it's a win-win for me. If I come to you and you explain, I get clarity and I understand better. So being able to like approach people that because there were people in class that had like years of experience in logistics, in supply chain. In fact, there were people who, like in classroom, for example, they were like, involved in discussions and everything. These ones are, so I would approach them like, I don't understand this thing. I don't understand even data. We had like some topics. It was just looking like, one language that I just did not understand. So I had to like, approach them for clarity. I had to approach even some of our professors as well. Like, okay, I don't understand this. Can you please, explain, like Dr. Quest said. Then I think lastly, what I also did was to intentionally involve myself in classroom discussions. I was active in class. In fact, I know that some of the things that I was saying, maybe some of them were not even making sense, but in a way, I was also building my confidence because, it's where we are coming from. There is this for some, I don't know about banking sector, but for some companies, you tend to not want to say too much because it's like you have all this hierarchy and people that you have to like bow to and all of that. But then you're coming to a place where you have to like be confident and bold. So all those things I did in class, like being actively involved in like conversations, it did help me to like build my confidence, like talking in public and all of that. So, and then I was also able to learn. I was also able to understand as I was, involving myself. I was listening to my lecturer, I was listening to my classmate, I was taking note that, oh, okay, this is what this means. I will ask again, I will say, oh, can I ask a question, please? And then I will say something. So those were the things that worked for me, and that kind of gave me clarity on my coursework. Yeah, so basically.
Beautifully said, honestly. The interesting thing is richer when it's coming from your viewpoint than when the tutor is saying engage, discuss, go in groups. You're just looking at your and you're like, oh, honestly, what you just shared, oh, I wish I could.
Can I just add something to what Lydia said?
Yes,
when
sure,
they say go
please.
in groups. So I did a course on biochemistry and the lecturer already grouped us. And people were leaving their groups to come to my group. Why? Because my group, what we do, And we were just different people from different places. One of them was from Thailand. I'm from Nigeria. One is from India. One is British. One is from England. One is from Scotland. So we share the questions because the lecturer sends the questions ahead of time. So we share them. In the midst of my sleeping and waking up and going for shifts, I find time to answer my own part of the questions. And then we come before the class, we come together, look at the questions again, and then we make sure we are sitting together so that whenever the lecturer says, oh, that group, somebody has something to say. So very important, if you have a group, you should participate. Say something. In fact, that biochemistry, it was one person in the group that helped every one of us pass. Because what she did was that she put all the questions the lecturer had sent together, answered them, and shared that document with us. Every one of us, every 5 of us in our group, we passed the course. Wow. So if you are in a class, just look for, well, it's not about forming clique, but getting the right set of people. You know, like they say, aside our 1,000 naira note, 2 good dead or 3 good dead. It's better apart from the one on the 1,000 naira.
At first, I didn't understand what is naira. What is naira? But I beg, what if I want to get into politics? And they said, I said the 1,000 naira note. But you understand what Joy is saying? Yeah. Wow, that's brilliant, Joy. That's very. And the interesting thing that came to mind is that even beyond schooling, you know, now you have these groups. You got the opportunity to relate to them on a different level. Graduation is less than 9 months away. That's when real life comes. Many opportunities is really about, they will remember you. That, oh, Joy, oh, very intelligent, smart. Oh, this person, oh, very warm, and honestly, recommendations, you know, for jobs, especially in this age and time that remote working is next to nothing, you know. You don't necessarily have to be working in Thailand. No, it could be a remote offer and the likes. But because they've perceived you during those months that you were together, that, oh, this person is very punctual, this person is committed, no matter what, this person is able to fulfill their own part of the task. So very good points. And these are the sort of attributes we should actually build and also showcase. That's how we advertise ourselves and our skill sets. Awesome. Thank you so much, brilliant panelists. And Jessica, what I want to ask you is, for you personally, did you encounter any unexpected obstacles, issues, challenges while you were working on your coursework, and how were you able to navigate through these problems?
Okay, so I definitely encountered, it was, I think it was the first assessment we had to submit in first semester. It was PSS. I think everybody did PSS in there from University of Salford, that is, and it was a it's like a course where they want you to critically analyze essays. Oh, you have to read it, go through it, and know what's going on, and then you now like extract your own points. It was very strange to me. It was just a lot. I didn't even know where to start from. So luckily for me, for that course, we had groups, and then each group had a tutor. Yeah. So, and my tutor was very approachable. You could ask him questions, and then you could just see that he really wanted everybody to pass, and then he was willing to give feedback. So what helped me in that course was, and then so when the class started, because for me, when some of our wonderful panelists here were saying start early, sometimes 1 month into, I still don't know what to do. So, but going to class, because I tried not to miss class, going to class and taking notes of what they were saying in class really helped. So when it was now finally time, maybe like a month to the assessment submission, going back to those notes and then like reminding myself there are some things they would have said that would really be like a good point for you when you're now finally writing your assessment. So going to classes helped, and taking notes. Then also my group members, I asked questions. I was not shy. Even the ones that sometimes we didn't actually don't carry first position in class, I would still ask them. You cannot beat me. So that really helped. So I was asking questions. I was not shy. There's no shyness here. We had goals that we had pinned, and then we said we'll finish with distinction. Either it's true shame, whatever, we'll finish it. So I asked a lot of questions, and then funny enough, a lot of my group members and classmates in general were always very willing to help. And then I made sure that I always submitted a draft to my lecturer, even if it wasn't complete, even if it wasn't perfect. I made sure I submitted a draft because it would give feedback. Our tutor was very detailed. He would give you, he took his time. You could see that he took his time. So the feedback really helped. And then, to be fair, once they give you feedback and you do everything they want you to do, it's like a short A already for the course. So that really helped. And then I think the last thing that I would say helped me was I was also like online, like researching on courses, and YouTube really helped me. So I would go on YouTube to Google critical comparison. How do you critically compare? So sometimes even after I'd read it, videos were able to explain to me better. And then some people are just better at explaining things. So YouTube and watching videos on YouTube on, the said task or whatever really helped me a lot. And then so I would say attending class, taking notes, utilizing your tutors and your classmates. If you're reading it and you're not understanding it, watch it. So that's YouTube. And then also I would say that another thing that helped me was, even though I did not completely understand, the entirety of the assessment, the work, I would, like, for example, now, if we're asked to write an essay on a particular topic, like diabetes in old women, I know that for sure in my introduction, I need to talk on diabetes. I need to, give statistics of people that have statistics of this so and so age that have diabetes. So all those things were ready. So articles, tabs were open on my laptop on those articles. And then I just, what I needed to do. So when I now finally understood everything, I just knew where to go to now finally pull everything and make it make sense. So I think, yes, I think that's all I have to say for
Awesome.
how I tackled it.
Awesome. Yeah, well said, honestly. And you've really hit the nail. And one thing, some common themes across board is, I don't know, over there at MM, we call it lecture capture, whereby you listen to the lecture recording again, because during the lecture, maybe there's just so much or so little you can assimilate at that point in time. And sometimes when you go back to it and you watch or you listen, then it's totally different, you can actually make sense in terms of connecting the different dots and like, oh, wow, I see this, I understand it better. And at ManMet, for instance, we have directed studies, we have extra materials, so beyond the lectures, beyond the seminar materials, there are also additional materials for you, videos, case studies, white papers, journal articles, and so on, for you to actually dive in. So that supports what Jessica mentioned in terms of going the extra mile. Don't just stop at the lecture slides. No, you're not going to have an A if you just stop at the lecture slides, So you need to actually take ownership of this journey is actually for you, and you taking full ownership on it makes you really understand better and gives you that exposure. So that's then in terms of taking notes in the classroom, honestly, try as much. I don't know, research shows that there's a connection when you write and your brain and then everything. So take notes as much as possible. Listen as well. Listen, take key notes. When you are listening to the recording, when you get back home, don't listen to it like a podcast. Don't just chill on the bed and you're watching Netflix. No, you have to sit up and take notes, pause, think about it again, and more like taking it full scale. There was one of our panelists mentioned that the truth is, honestly, for your coursework or your assessment, you will still end up submitting one at a point in time. So it's better you start. Honestly, start. It's just like when you're trying to use cold water to shower in winter period. Just a little touch here, a little touch there, and before you know it's your whole body. So maybe today you're like, okay, let me try and write a paragraph. And then the other time, okay, 2 more paragraphs. Then before you know it, you're spending 5 hours, you are sat there and you're enjoying it. But the first step is starting. That starting is very key. Thank you so much, everyone. Joy, I'll come back to you. What challenges did you face, when you were tackling your first coursework, and how did you overcome them? You're muted.
So for my first coursework, the only challenge I faced Basically, it was the word count. Agogo mentioned it. In marketing, you don't talk so much story. Go straight to the point. Tell your supervisor what they want to hear. But here they wanted me to start writing and rigmaroling around the point. So I remember telling my husband, I don't know how to write so many things. How am I going to make up the 3,000? In fact, I'd finished writing and it was about 1,000 and something words. Plus all my paragraphs and everything I tried to put together. It was not funny. It was not funny at that time. So I had to sit down and look at it again. It was the word count for me. 3,000 words is a lot, and then it is not a lot, because after the first one, it became really easy. In fact, at the time, I had to start holding myself from writing up to 5,000. So for your first coursework, you might just really struggle with what exactly is 3,000 words. And then you might really struggle with what exactly is critical analysis. All right. I've gotten people who, okay, I know a few people who came into MME and they're doing my course. And one of them got feedback from the lecturer that her analysis was not critical at all. And I said, okay, the critical analysis they want you to do is just like you're having a debate. Argue for this person, argue for this person, and draw your conclusion. Even if your conclusion is further studies need to be carried out. So I know a lot of us are really struggling with what is critical analysis. In my first degree, I did human nutrition. I have a journal. My first degree work was published in a journal. I tell you the truth, I didn't do any critical analysis in that thing. I just wrote. I wrote and I was writing references, but I had to learn how to critically discuss. So when you're looking at a paper that says the effect of saturated fats on your heart, you are going to look for another paper that says there is no effect of saturated fat on your heart. Now look at the both papers, look at what this person said, and look at what the other person said. On your own, you are looking at what they are saying. Don't agree with anybody. Look at it like a panelist. You want to judge the two of them. Look at the, I'm just going to break down. Look at if it is a study that was carried out for a long time, the effect of saturated fat on heart was carried out for a long time, and the no effect of saturated fat on heart was carried out for a short time, 1 point down. So okay, so you argue for the effect of saturated fat. Then the second time, maybe the effect of saturated fat was carried out on only people that were 50 years old, but the no effect was carried out on a larger population that had different people. You say, okay, effect have 0 points, this one has 1 point. Put 3, 4, 5, 6 points together. That's what you should do when you're reading your journals. Get your journals, like Jessica was saying. I have if you see my tabs, if you see my workstation from my laptop to the big screen, that's how everywhere is just full. I have I group all the journals. This one is for, this one is against. So get your journals. If it's 10 journals you want to write with, 5 for, 5 against, group them, start reading them, making your separate points. Because I had that issue, critical analysis. But after my first assessment, I mean, when I submitted to my lecturer and she zeroed me back that, oh, your literature review, it was a critical too. I'm like, hello, madam. I did a lot here. Do you know I went for shift? I had to go back. I had to sit down and write it again. And I struggled with it. I know a lot of people are struggling. I know a lot of international students, because back home, we don't do those kind of. I don't know if they do it in master's level in Nigeria, but I only did my BSc, so we didn't used to do all those kind of things. So the word count, the literature review, and then my conclusion. Oh dear God, my conclusion, no, they pass one paragraph. I just conclude with one paragraph, and that's the end. So all my feedbacks kept coming like, you have to do more your conclusion. I get like 7/10 in conclusion, 6/10, 5/10. But I got the highest mark in my conclusion for my dissertation after we had the dissertation event, the one we had on Instagram Live, because I now knew what to put in my conclusion. So I know the conclusion is always like, okay, what am I going? Well, I already know what I want to write. Let me just write it. They know that you know what you want to write, but they want you to go over what did we say we want to achieve? What method did we say we want to achieve it with? Did we finally achieve it? If yes, say something. If no, say something. So I know I struggled with it, and I know people are struggling with it as well. So the basic thing is just go over your introduction again, go over your literature review, introduction, a bit of a literature review, then your methodology, and then you can now draw your conclusions together in summary. Then your last paragraph will be like your conclusion. So your conclusion can at least have 2 pages and not half a page like mine used to be.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Honestly, that's interesting. The way, do you know what came to my mind? I don't know if I'm reading anyone's heart here amongst our audience that the way Joy is saying as if it's that easy. Just do it this way, like if only it was that easy. But
I guarantee you, even for me, it was not easy. I tell you, I don't like. I can talk very well. I can talk from morning to night. I can write, but we have to look at it. We have to see whether the thing is getting too much, because a lot of, in fact, I applied for some NHS jobs and I'm supposed to write 1,500 words in my supporting statement, and I write 600 words, and I'm done with all the points. I made all the points. Why do I need 1,500? So I may have to sit with a friend. The same thing Lydia said, the same thing Jessica said. See, there are some people you have to shamelessly ask them, okay, babe, let me see your supporting statement. Or yeah, how did you do this part? I have to sit with a friend. Now, if I write my supporting statement, they used to tell me it's too much, I should reduce it. So it's not easy, but you have to want to do it. Once you want to do it, it becomes easy. And then once you can draw support, once you can draw support, it becomes really easy. If I say it the way I used to suffer and do it, some of you will not. It's just the way the Bible tells us the story of Abraham and Isaac. We read it now, it's really easy, but the journey to that mountain, it was definitely not easy.
Thank you very much. Just to add on the brilliant points that Joy mentioned. So in terms of critical writing, there are some terminologies you can use, some keywords. So I'll put on the chat section, academic phrase bank, So once you go on that link, you see different sort of keywords you can use in your introduction, when you're in your conclusion, especially, what are the keywords to use? If you want to be critical, what are the words that just set that tone that for the reader or the person grading your work to know that, oh, this is some critical discussion going on. So thank you very much. Just to speed up on the time and other discussion, Agogo, can you discuss the importance of peer feedback or collaboration in improving the quality of your coursework?
I think peer feedback and collaboration is very important, right? But to land on the importance, I think I'll just start with saying that you have to. I think it's first of all important to identify the peers that you want to collaborate with, right? A lot of people are in the class. Not everyone. Everyone has their reasons for being there. I think I'd say that some people just are there to just pass time, in quotes, like just to finish, just to graduate, right? Some people want to finish the distinction, so it's important to identify people that I would say are probably going in the same direction as you, right? Because when you start to put in so much work, you don't want people. Sometimes I feel like in a class setting, some people will make you feel like you're doing too much. What you're doing is in excess. Stuff like that, and some subtle comments like that, right, have the ability to kill your drive. So it's very important to identify people that are going in the same direction, and in that vein too as well. I think it's also very important to identify people whose thought process you respect, the way they think, how they structure their things, how they answer questions, because you want people that can improve, you want people that can improve your work. You've already put in so much effort. You want people that can ask questions that would open up more ideas for you, that would open up your eyes, that open your eyes to seeing better ways to structure things, better ways to look at things. And you want people too that are very resourceful, people that know where to get what, know how to get things, people that would help. And then I think the most important characteristics will be getting people that have integrity, because you don't want to share your coursework with people that will then realize they're sneaky. I think that's the word. You don't want to share your coursework with people that are sneaky, because plagiarism is very important. It's a very big deal. I have a friend that had issues with plagiarism and couldn't complete his degree. So you don't want people that you shared your ideas, or you've sent your paper to have a review, and then they start stealing your ideas, taking things from you. At the end of the day, it looks like you guys have copied each other. But like, if you can pick out this characteristics in your colleagues or your classmates, I think it's very important. I think you'd get the best, in terms of helping each other, as iron sharpened iron, right?
Yeah.
So they'll give you insights. I think it's very important. Nobody is an island, and again, bearing in mind that you would conclude your degree within a short time frame, the next 9-10 months, you have to bear in mind that one of the skills that people are looking out for when you start looking to get into new roles in the corporate environment, right, is networking. So you want to be able to show that you can exhibit, or you want to exhibit that skill in terms of networking, working with people, collaborating. Nobody wants to employ someone that wants to do it all, or thinks that they know it all, or thinks that their way is the best way, right? So learning to collaborate with people is very helpful in terms of building those transferable skills, like we had mentioned, that you can push into the interview process when you're looking for a job.
Wow. Honestly, Agogo, that's awesome. I like the fact that you touched on many key attributes, because it's way beyond the graded assessment, and no, because that's just level 1. Level 2 is the real world. So that's very interesting. Thank you so much, Agogo. If I'm still on you what is the best approach to learning coding? I know you did fintech, right, in University of Salford. So in terms
Yes.
of that area, learning coding, especially someone that has because I remember last year when people were coming to meet me, like, I work in the bank, I actually felt okay, fintech was the right, but now I'm shocked. They're telling me to be coding. I have no background. I couldn't laugh. I could only sympathize. So it would really be good if you can mention to, especially if it's first timer, or how do they go about it? Learning coding, and what sort of materials, how can they just catch up on these things?
Okay, so I think, like, for me, right, I didn't have any experience in I did not know how to write any Python codes or SAS codes, right? Basically all we did was Excel back in the days at Microsoft Office, right? So so it's been a huge learning curve for me. But I think I'll start by saying that a lot of it has to do with your mindsets.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter, I'll digress a bit. I was in a training a couple of weeks back, and then it was about a high performance mindset was the training, building a high performing team. And then the facilitator kind of like, there was an exercise, right? He asked 3 questions. He told us he was going to ask 3 questions. The first question was very easy, something about just tap any item you see, name it at the end, tell me how many items you've counted, right? The second one was, he started to say, touch an item, don't say the name, touch the next item, say the name of the previous item you've mentioned, and then at the end, count the number of items that you've called out. And the truth of the matter is, like, that was the best example ever, because I was guilty. The moment he started saying all those long things, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get confused by the time I get to item number 5, right? And so I didn't attempt it, or I didn't give it my best. But there were people in the class that, counted up to 50, 60 things, and then he called people out and he asked them how they were able to do it, because he was like, I'm sure there are a lot of people here that gave up when they had the instruction. And then they said, they had like a strategy. So they were probably touching the same items, kind of just, there was no rule. And that's what the guy was trying to say. So a lot of it is your mindset. Your mind would limit your ability to learn. If you think that something is difficult, it will be difficult for you. If you think that it's learnable, then you will learn it. I think that's the first thing. Once you believe that you can learn it, the difference between you and the person that knows it is just time, right? And that takes me to the next thing. That next approach is just putting in that time to actually do it, because with coding, the more you do, the more you know how to do it. And then the third thing will be jump on projects, right? Jump on projects. When I joined HSBC, during the interview process, the hiring manager asked me, what do you want to learn? Or what's your learning goal for the next 6 to 12 months? And I said, I'm just learning Python and I'd love to be on a lot of Python projects. And he killed me with Python projects, right? But it was a huge learning curve, because I think ideally, if that opportunity did not come, I probably wouldn't have practiced as much, and then I probably would not know as much, So just jump on projects, and there are a lot of resources out there. I would share probably in the next couple of days. I'll try to pass across some people I follow on Instagram, on LinkedIn, that share free resources. If you need data sets, if you need like textbooks, I'm on a Telegram page where they drop free textbooks for coding. They give us free resources for coding. I use Codecademy. Codecademy is like, they have like free programming skills, not just for Python, anything else. Take advantage of Coursera. And if you want to take advantage of Coursera, I think I'll give you like a quick cheat, right? If you have a friend that can log into Coursera in Nigeria, right? Because if you're in Nigeria, you get huge discounts. If you have a friend that logs into Coursera in Nigeria, or has an account of Coursera account in Nigeria, right? The cost that you'll probably be getting for like £100 in the UK is probably going to be going for like 5,000-10,000 naira in Nigeria. And Coursera has no issues with sharing passwords and username, right? So take advantage of these things and put in the time. And I think like you definitely build your skills.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Agogo. Thank you very much. For
Can I
our
please just
audience,
add something for Coursera? You can get something that's called a scholarship. I've gotten Coursera scholarship several times when I try to learn coding. So you can request for scholarship. Just write not a lie, but the truth is that I'm coming from Africa, from Nigeria. I'm the third child. My parents have a lot of responsibility. Please, can you help me? They usually help, and they usually give you sponsors. Don't say the way I said it, though, but just structure it properly. They will give you scholarship. They will give you, Coursera will give you scholarship for anything you want to do, even to not the beginner. I think even to the advanced level, Coursera can give you scholarship, but then you have to work within the time of the course. You have to do your assessment, submit your assessments and stuff.
oh, thank you. Thanks for that up as well.
Yeah,
so please.
and just one last point, right? I think like social media is a very great tool when it comes to learning, right? But again, I use only Instagram. I'm not on Twitter, but like, so Instagram gives you content that it thinks you'll be interested in. So take advantage of the contents that you're interacting with, right? Be mindful of the contents that you're interacting with. Go to some of these pages, like the pages, put in comments, if there are links there, like the links. So when you go on your discover page or explore page, right, you start to see a lot of contents. And same thing with LinkedIn, right? Follow people that are in the field that you're interested in. Follow, if you want to develop your data science capacities or your coding capacities, right? There are groups you can join on LinkedIn. Follow people that comment a lot on those groups, people that have dropped their thought leaders in that area. Follow them. Then you start to interact with their own content. So like if they like something, it will come up on your notification. If they repost something, come up on your notification. And that way, you're picking information bit by bit.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you very much. In fact, for our audience, please, if you have any questions, kindly post on the chat section. Any question at all, and if you rather speak with our panelists, let us know. Just show up, and then we would be able to know this. Yeah. So just moving quicker. Honestly, it's been so interesting and loads of nuggets, loads of insights that these lovely panelists have been passing on. So quickly, I know Agogo might have to drop off because he's at work, so he has a meeting in the next 10 minutes. So maybe I could just use this opportunity to also mention, if Agogo, do you have any sort of words or anything you want to tell the audience? Audience, if you have any question for Agogo, please, now is the time to put it on the chat.
I think like my final words would just be like generally have a positive mindset, right? And a positive attitude. to everything. Silence naysayers. Don't let people sow evil seeds or discourage you. I think it's very important to guard your thought process, right? Because you would definitely attract, and that's what faith is. You definitely attract the things that you set your mind on. But I generally don't entertain conversations around, oh, this course is so difficult, or or this, nobody passes this course. But no, it's not possible. If nobody passed the course, either that lecturer won't be there, or the course would have been changed. If everyone that came to that school failed that course, right? So as long as someone else has passed it before you, you can be that person, right? The person did something right. And I think that that's just the mindset that I take. There's no challenge in the university setting, right? Everything has been set in a way that if you apply the right principles, you'll do well, you'll prosper. The lecturers are not being paid to fail you. Lecturers don't take interest in failing you. So, I mean,
Louder, please.
so I mean, just have a positive mindset around it. And as you progress in your schoolwork, and it's time to look for a job too as well, and all that, have a positive mindset around being able to get a job. One thing I know for sure, right, is like you would encounter people that will try to discourage you, people that will try to mock you for your positivity, but don't be bothered about it. Just still maintain that focus and that positive mindset, and I think like everything is going to turn out well, and everyone's going to be happy, fine at the end of the day.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Agogo. But obviously, before you leave, and rest of our panelists, kindly drop your Instagram if you're on LinkedIn, your LinkedIn profile within the chat box, so anyone can follow. Please, I'll drop mine as well. If you have any Instagram that you want others to follow, but then someone could please help me drop the School Talk Instagram link on the chat section. So many of our webinars or seminars, we actually make use of Instagram Live because it's just there and it's a very good repository for us. So yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for this brilliant insight that you've discussed, Agogo. And if anyone has any questions, maybe later on, if you're studying fintech or whatever, you can always drop a LinkedIn message to Agogo. It will definitely respond to you. So just mention you're from School Talk. You would mention to yeah, so thank you very much, Agogo. But yeah, we know you're still here with us, but anytime you want to leave, that's also fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. So Efe, please, I was wondering if you could answer this question for us. In retrospect, was there any sort of insight you wish you had known before starting your first coursework? And what advice would you give to students either they've submitted the first work already and maybe this is their second coursework journey, or those that are really fresh into the game? What sort of advice, if you had to reflect on this?
Well, for me, the things, just as Joy said, the academic system here is quite different from what we have back home. I wish I really had a very good understanding of critical analysis, basically, and a very good understanding of having to put essays together, because we're coming from an environment where you just go straight to the point. Oftentimes, too much of information is seen as over syllabus, basically. So, and yeah, there's need for data to back every information, basically, that you're speaking on, or whatever information that you're putting down, basically. So I wish I had those understanding as to some of the basic tools needed to help make my coursework quite easy, like Grammarly, being able to knowing how to paraphrase, understanding what Turnitin mean. I can remember you were the first person that called me on Turnitin. I was like, I don't know what to say. So mine was basically just submit assignments and if not, I'm sure I would have failed that assessment, because at the end of the day, I found out that the Turnitin percentage was way above tolerable level, basically. So I wish I knew some of those things before coming in. And also, I came with the mindset that, okay, I was going to be having, the way academic environment is back home, it's kind of more engaging for me. You see everybody coming to the board or the teacher comes to the board, but it's quite different for me when I came. I like, you have to see it. It's more like I have to participate, engage, considering the fact that I was coming to an environment, doing a course that was barely new to me, basically. So it gave me those, I had to struggle at some point at the beginning. And along the line, I was able to pick up and I started running. So I wish I had those understanding that these are the things to expect. You need to know how to do this. You need to know how to do that. You need to know how to paraphrase. You need to know how to you need to know how to write things in your own language, even if you need to write it in your native language, but provided it's something that the lecturer will be able to read and all that. So I wish I knew most of all those things at the start of the program, so that at least made life much easier for me. And I think that those are some of the things I know I struggled with at the beginning, basically.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much for those insights, Efe. Thank you very much. Just to go on quickly, Jessica, how would you advise anyone handling emotional issues along with their academic studies? Because we really can't, it has a large part to play and is so important. I'm sure in your universities, in mine, Manchester Met, we have personal tutors, because your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, everything, if you don't check those boxes, honestly, your academics is just be. But how in your own, what do you think from your view, from your lens, how would you advise anyone handling emotional issues along with academic studies?
Okay, so I would say, because when we're talking about emotional issues, there's like a whole spectrum. It could be something like the death of a loved one. They are all, very, very serious issues. So I would say, first of all, like when you just start, you come into school and then you started, you know what you want to get out of this time at school. I think it's very important to write those goals out. So I'm just going to be saying a lot of things that worked for me from like my experience. So I think it's important to write the goals out. What it is you want to achieve in this 1 year or this next 2 years or from this academics and even after. And then where you're going. I think it's important to write it out. And I probably put this in a place where you can be seeing it like every day, like in your room or something. It helped me. So, and then also I would say friends and family. So relationship. Some people have friends and family, but they don't talk to them. So I would say that helped. So for me, because emotional issues you lose focus when you start having emotional issues. You might have been very gingered before school when you're writing your goals. As I'm coming here, A in all my courses, nobody can touch me. But life happens. And then I think that's why I said putting your goals in a place where you see it, so that you are reminded of, the ginger you had before this thing happened. And then also friends and family, talking to trusted friends and families, that really helped me. So, and then I think also sharing your goals with trusted friends and families, because I think there's this mentality of if you want to do something, don't tell anybody, hide it. But I strongly believe it's by testimony that sharing it and telling trusted people helps. Because one, they hold you accountable. And two, when when things come up and you're now saying, I don't think I can do this, they will be the ones to remind you, oh, this is how gingered you were, this is why you wanted to do it, you can do it, everything is temporary, this too shall pass. So I would say, one, write your goals out clearly and share it with trusted family and friends. Not everybody you can share it with. And then also talk to your family and friends about emotional issues. It could be the death of a loved one, it could be a certain type of loss of a friendship. They're all very important and it affects us greatly. So I would say talk about it, write out your goals. And then I would also say to key into the spiritual help that you have. So I strongly believe that this physical world is strongly controlled by the spiritual. So I also believe that when you say things, they have the power of manifesting. So if you're, going through whatever it is that you're going through, and then if you can be honest with yourself and with God and just say, God, help me. This is what I had planned at the beginning of this year. Look at what is happening now. This is not how I thought it would be. God, help me. From experience, my testimony, God will help you. Like, I don't think it's really a to-do list. Oh, write your goals. All those things help. Oh, write your goals. Talk to your friends. Check. I've written my goals. I've talked to my friends. I'm supposed to be okay now. Why am I not okay? So I think there's also a very big part of, keying into your spiritual help. So just talk to God. If it's to cry to him that, God, this is not how we planned this year, or how far. Cry to him that it should help you. So I would say those three things: write out your goals, talk to your friends and family. Some people they have friends and family, don't use them. That's why they are there, for emotional support. And then last but not the least, I would say key into the spiritual help that you have. So that was what worked for me. It's easy to say it now, and then I just give these 3 points, but it was like a roller coaster of things. But I think I could just summarize into these three things. It really helped me. And then, so I'm not just giving advice like out of textbook, it's from experience. So those 3 things I would say. And then also pace yourself, give yourself a break. Sometimes we're very hard on ourselves that, I've set goals. Like sometimes we're like, oh, I've said I must make 1 million by the end of this month, and I've not even got it to 200. You now have to do all the shifts. You kill yourself. So I think pace yourself, and then don't be too hard on yourself too. And then just believe that, nothing is permanent, everything is temporary. These too shall pass. And then yes, I think that's what I'll say.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jessica. That was really good. Just to touch on, please, whatever institution you belong to, we have a whole department for well-being. You can always ring up your GP. There are so many support systems, even in Manchester or wherever community you are from. Maybe you're connecting from Birmingham right now, but you could start, maybe your uni is even the first starting point. You have the student union that would actually signpost you to the right necessary places. For ManMet, we have our student hub, we have the well-being department. So please don't joke with your mental health. And especially we have this winter period where everything becomes so, gloom and all of that, because the sun is not out and our sort of color, we are low on calcium, whatever vitamins it is, So please speak out. And of course, if you belong to any church or any religious group, and as Jessica mentioned, the support system is key. And if you are one with your family, and you're wondering, how can if you've made friends with neighbors or a couple of other families when you pick up your child, although please be careful with the sort of friendship you are cultivating. But the point here is that please speak out. I know the diverse or the gap between the sort of culture you're coming from, whereby is a different culture, and in here, once you just enter yours and you lock up, you many times might feel alone, and it's not a good feeling. So School Talk, you can always chat us up. You can always meet any of these faces at any point in time. But overall, please speak out, speak up. Your uni, your tutors, your personal tutors, they will direct you to who you should speak to. Okay, yeah, Damilola, you have a question. Your hand is up, so please, you want to unmute yourself.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. But I must say that I blessed the lady that gave me the link. I'm very, very grateful. I really enjoyed the section. In fact, I must say I'm happy, very, very happy.
Oh.
So please, my question is I would like to ask Sister Joy, please, in fact, for the first time, I'm wishing that why didn't I even study a course? No, I really learned from. I'm like, why didn't I even, so that you just cut your head and give me your brain? I'm challenged. I'm seriously challenged. Yeah. The aspect of table of content, please. Yeah, how can I incorporate that into my work to help me? Because sincerely, when I was coming from Nigeria, I had the mindset that I want to finish with a distinction, nothing less. But coming here, I'm feeling kind of discouraged, and I'm even tending to look at another path that maybe I should just get help from people that can help me with my work. But listening to you again, that you are a mom again, really challenged me that I can also make that, I can still accomplish that achieve that my goal. So please, how can I use that table of content to help me? I'm in the field of education. I'm actually studying MA education. Then my other question is I don't know concerning the citation, because my sorry, my baby in the background. Um, my personal tutor is also the one heading the citation. So she actually told us that we should start working on our dissertation during the winter break. Kò yé mi, like, am I going to choose a topic like the way we did when we are writing our undergraduate projects? Kí ni mo fẹ́ ṣe? Kò yé mi, ẹ jọ̀ọ́. Those two questions. How do I incorporate table of content to help me to, because I really like that aspect of paragraph that you have talked about, and I'm actually going to work on it tonight in my assessment work. Yeah, that table of content, how can I shake and develop any then the citation too, how do I start? Do I look for a topic?
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
Okay, oh, this is assuming I understand what the Yoruba she said. She said, how will she develop it? How can she use it right?
Yeah.
Lydia, am I correct? Okay.
Oh, sorry, don't
Yeah.
understand Yoruba. Sorry.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. So I'm going to, I got this idea from one of my lecturers. I'm going to be frank. He's a lecturer in Manchester Metropolitan as well. He was the one that told us, because his course is so abstract. You know, when Internet of Things people talk, this particular one course is our own Internet of Things. Sustainability. Waiting with sustainability. Because sustainability is like a buzzword. Everybody says sustainable. So what the man said was that get a table of content. I'm going to read through my dissertation table of content for you, what I wanted to write on. So my dissertation was a randomized control trial, an RCT. Sorry, my baby is making a noise. So my dissertation was an RCT, and I was looking at the effect of pomegranate on the blood pressure of adults aged. Please just give me 1 second. Mama, mommy is in a meeting. Okay. Thank you.
Do we give you, okay, we'll give you a minute.
This is how I managed to do all my assessments. In fact, Coco Melon is playing at my background and I'm doing my assessments. The noise, nothing can deter me from doing my assessment. That's if that means this is how you should be focused. Your baby, at least this baby, if you give me this baby, I'll collect the baby and give my own. This one is very easy. This one is very easy at this stage. So
this just a 2 months baby.
don't worry, I'm telling you, it's easy. With the help of God, you will get through this stage. You will just realize that I've passed this stage. Oh. All right. So first of all, once you have an assessment, look at the assessment. Whatever the topic is, divide that topic. My dissertation was in the effect of pomegranate extract on the blood pressure of adults in the UK. So I want to look at the blood pressure of adults. What is this blood pressure going to connote? Okay, hypertension. I looked at hypertension as a global health crisis. I looked at hypertension as a crisis in the UK. All this I was doing with data as well. All right. I looked at, okay, why is it important that we monitor blood pressure? Why is it important that we control blood pressure? I answered that question in my introduction as well. I looked at the current opportunities. What is available now to control blood pressure? We have those blood pressure suppressing drugs. We have exercise. Then for my own the stuff I'm working on, it's like a supplement. I can't say. I now said, okay, there is an avenue that supplements can play. There's a role that supplements can play in blood pressure. And I looked at, okay, has this my own dissertation, has it been explored? If yes, I will now say, okay, this was actually explored in so population. So me, I'm carrying out my own in this population. That forms my aim and objective. So in my aim, I'm not saying the effect of pomegranate on this population. All right. So your chapter 1 should just dissect the topic. I've talked about blood pressure, which is hypertension. I've talked about why it's important. All right, I've talked about the opportunities that were there. What have been developed to control blood pressure. Then I'm talking about my own thing now that I'm researching that can control blood pressure. All right. So once you get that your introduction sorted, once you have divided your introduction into your topic exactly, once you have divided it to your into your dissertation, your introduction, sorry, then you go to your chapter 2. You now go in depth into the things you were talking about. If it's hypertension you were talking about, you now go in depth into hypertension. When you finish hypertension, you now dissect. I now dissected pomegranate. Okay, what's the biochemistry behind pomegranate being able to control blood pressure? And now did all that biochemistry. All right, I'm saying because I'm talking about it from my own aspect. You know what you want to do. Maybe you're looking at why children aged 5 years, why they don't do well in class, for example, why they don't. So you are saying children aged 5 years and classroom work. So that will be like your introduction. In your chapter 2, you are not talking about what they do in the classroom. All right, children aged 5 years, you now look at, is their psyche, I mean, are they developed enough to understand what is being done in the classroom? Then your methodology, you're not saying, okay, what will we use if you are trying to improve how they concentrate in the classroom? What will we use? What have been used before? What am I going to use? You now merge it together. But your chapter 2, you are critically discussing. You are not just going to say they don't concentrate. You're obviously going to look for an article that says they concentrate and another article that says they don't concentrate. And if you can get a third article in the middle that will say, okay, they probably concentrate or depending on this reason. So when you have argued for they concentrate and they don't concentrate, you will now use the one that was in the middle and now say, but according to this person, I agree, or you could say my study agrees with the findings from Lydia Damilola 2023 that said that they concentrate if you give them ice cream. All right. So that's what you do in chapter 2. This, that, middle, this, that, middle. Then chapter 3, you talk about your methodology and all that. And then for your conclusion, you go back to talk about the children, how they don't concentrate, how studies have shown that their concentration could improve with this and this and this. So all this, just write it in your table of contents. This 2.1, I'll talk about how they concentrate. 2.2, I'll talk about how they concentrate but don't concentrate enough. Like Dr. Kwe said, I look at some people's work and their points are all over the place. Once you're talking about concentration, finish everything about concentration. If you're talking about giving them lollipop to help them concentrate, finish. Don't go from saying concentration to giving lollipop, then concentration to giving lollipop. You are going to scatter points the graph, and we cannot plot a straight line in the middle. So that's how you do your table of content. Just write the points you want to talk about. Just write them one, blah, 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 bam, 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 and then we go and start developing it.
Thank you so much. I'm sure you both can always catch up behind the scene, but because of time, we would have to just get into the wrapping up stage. For me personally, it's been lovely hearing the point of view from your own perspective. Honestly, the journey is, it's always like, okay, this is what the tutors are expecting, this is what the university is expecting. But when you listen to the students, like, wow, and then you see how much they put in, is beautiful. So well done, our lovely panelists. Thank you so much. So just to the next 5 minutes or so, quickly, I would go around you in terms of final words. What's those things, word of advice that you have top of your tongue and you want to share with the community? So let's start from my screen. Lydia.
Okay. I think of course because of time. So what I would just say is I know it's almost impossible not to be distracted, but it's also important to just stay focused, because we are investing a lot of money in this, and I know people travel for different reasons. Some people just want to travel because they want to japa. Yes, I totally understand that, and it's valid, but you also want to make good use of, the time. So less distractions. I think that's very important. Then another thing I would say is, take breaks. Sometimes, like, I kind of realized that life abroad can be you just going in circles. So you're just going to work, you're going to school, you're going to work, you're going to school. You're not even breathing. I told myself I was going to have a different experience. So I decided this year I said, okay, I was going to go on vacation. I went on vacation. I went to rest. And then I came back. And I also told myself that I would not just be going in circles. I would also use my time to work for God. And that's why I joined, choir, because it's just easy for you to be just, work and school, work and school. And by the time 1 year is over, you realize that you did not network, you did not make, meaningful relationships. I mean, being a part of my father's house, I don't know if everyone will remember, maybe I'm just using style to like invite you. Being a member of my father's house has, really, really helped me to like forge relationships. I've met incredible people, amazing people, and I've been able to do things that I don't know, I wouldn't have the opportunity to do those things if I did not, just go out of the normal work and school. So just like the goal, just ensure that you have the best of experience as a student while you are working. Take time to rest. Sleep if you want to sleep. If you feel like your body is tired, please rest. If anything happens, money has wasted though, and that's the end. So I think those are like my final words. And just make, just have the best of experience. And I think that's it in
Wow.
sum. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. Again, we can't emphasize your health. Your health is important, everyone. Please, your health. And again, just to mention this, over here for your assessments, for your assignments, if you are sick, if you are poorly, if you are not feeling well, you can actually get a self-set. Anyway, for Manchester Met, you don't even need any evidence. Just go on Moodle. There's a link there or just type in within the search box, self-set. You have extra 7 days to submit your assessment. Find out in your own institution. And again, if you are poorly, get a letter from your GP. Make sure you submit it on time to the university, and then they give you extra time on when you can submit your assignment. So don't be like, I'll manage. If you manage, and then you submit and you don't get the sort of grades you would have gotten when you were fully yourself, it's going to drop your percentage. And so please, your health is paramount, and not just that, your emotional well-being, your mental health, and the like. So please, and also your relationships, the sort of networking, we've emphasized this, is really important. You are in school talk, don't be by yourself. It's an open space. You can just chat in there, find out things. Hi everyone, is anyone in town? I'm at so place. Just be open and be sort of open-minded, ready to network, know people, and be able to exchange knowledge and share knowledge. So thank you very much, Lydia. Efe, what's your final words for the audience?
Lydia said it all. You've also said most of the things. For me, just I would just want to say, if nature calls, just respond. If you need to sleep, sleep.
Very important.
There's no amount of money that you will make here that you won't spend. The more you make, the more you spend. Please, just find time to strike a balance and ensure you attend to your mental health. I think that's very important. This country is very interesting and very crazy. So please, very, very important. Build the right set of people. Be positive, be focused, just keep pushing, which is basically what I'm doing. Believing that one day I will strike the eyes, and that's just it. So that's for me. So, and don't allow people discourage you. We're all here for different reasons, but let your own reason be paramount. Yeah, and draw strength from people. Very important. Yeah. Fine, we also need to be very careful as to the set of people that we associate with, but we must not live in isolation. and which is some of the things I get to see. Oh, I don't want to associate with this. I don't want this person to know what I'm doing. And at the end of the day, we just end up denying ourselves opportunity of some information that could be of value and importance to us. So that's basically what I'll have to say. So please, let's be focused and let's just do things in accordance to the rules so that we don't get to struggle at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow, brilliant. Thank you so much, Ife. That's very good. Please, if you're on student visa, don't say, they will not know. Trust me, they know. They're just waiting for you. They're just waiting at one corner, So please pay attention to things, follow the rules so that it's easier along the way. Then also in terms of you resting, so let me just play angel's advocate right now. Make sure that you've actually done the work before you are rewarding yourself to rest. You can't wake up and they're like, I'm tired, let me sleep. Oh, let me go on, what's his name? Mustafa. Today notes and all these gist blogger. Your assignment. Remember the reason why you're here. Just think about 11,000 or 15,000 pounds, convert it to whatever currency. So make sure that you've actually put in the work before you are even thinking that, I need to rest. It's only one that has worked that is actually ready to rest. But if you've been resting or you've been playing, you don't rest from resting, neither do you rest of playing, isn't it? All right, so my next person is Jessica.
I feel like I'm not a panelist because I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. I'm even taking notes. The one about don't letting people discourage you, and then being positive, because I'm in job application mode and I need all the positivity and that I get. So yes, but what I would say is in academics and then for whatever stage of life you're in, I think it's important to have goals so that the 1 year does not just go by and you didn't set any goals or anything. I know people mock and say, is every time you're supposed to do new year, new me? But still write the goals. Still write it. Even if it's one thing, it's better than nothing. So, and then don't just have it in your head, write it out. I think last year and the year before is when I actually started writing out my goals. And it really helped a lot. I was able to achieve much more than when I just had it in my head. So I would say write your goals down. And then after you have written your big goals, now break them down into daily tasks. So if you have written these big goals and there's no plan to get there, there's no point. So in terms of academics, that helped me too. So I had this big goal. I written to my wall, I want to finish with distinction. So okay, how do we get there now? So daily task, for each day, I would so time management is also very important. I would know what I'm doing every day, every week when I wake up towards submitting assessments early, submitting good quality assessments. If I needed to go to the library, so and so hours. If I needed to call this person to explain to me, I would schedule it. So I would say, so write your goals and then, write out how you plan to achieve those goals. I would also say, I think it was Lydia that mentioned it, take breaks. Take breaks, very, very important, because we like to forget that our body is not, like we're human beings, we need rest. Sometimes when you're planning, you say, I will read for the next 10 hours. You forget that you will need to eat, you need to drink water, you not put that into consideration. And then by the time you now go, you're never able to do up to 5 hours. So plan to take breaks during the day, during the week, during the semester. Breaks could be sleeping more, like if you've been working, like Dr. Quest said, there's no break from playing. So if you've not been sleeping well because of schoolwork, you can decide that, okay, these next 2 days I will sleep in. Doesn't have to be anything too expensive like a vacation or anything. It could be go outside and take a walk. I think that really helps. It could be that you just spend an hour on the phone talking to, a friend or a loved one. And then you could also be planning a vacation. You don't have to leave. It could just be London or something. I know there was a semester where it was getting towards submission time and I was already tired. Like I was doing a lot. And then the only thing I needed was a vacation to run away. It didn't even need to be far. I went to Scotland with my friends. And funny enough, when I came back, the assessment, and I started seeing the assessment in a different light. I don't know how to explain it, but yes, things were now.
I can relate.
Yes, things were now entering, it was just making more sense, and I had more ideas for group work and all of that. So sometimes you need to rest. You just go out and eat anything. I mean, you're working so much. Spend this money. So, and I think networking is also very important. So just like Lydia said, when Lydia said everything I wanted to say, really, just like she said, when I came, I said I did not want to do school work. So I joined community. First of all, I joined a church. I'm active in church, a worker in church, participate in any activity. I think church is like the easiest way to join something and network. And then sometimes churches have hangouts. Sometimes they travel, they go out. You could do that through churches. And then I would also say, and then yes, network. And I also say, I think the last thing I would say is pray about everything. So you have written all these goals and all, you need prayer to back it up, because some people don't want you to succeed in life. You need prayer. So I would say, even as much as you have written your goals, you have these plans, you have, say, I'll do this. Life happens, and it's God that helps all of us at the end of the day. So I'll say pray about everything. Anything can happen. Just pray about it. There was something that Bishop Oyedepo said in this Shiloh that I just concluded. He said, God cannot help you to cannot make you focus, but it can help you to focus. So it's you that will decide that is what you want to do. Then you not say, God, help me. You can't say, God, give me distinction. You have to decide that you want to make a distinction. And then God, trust me, it will help you. Will send help. If it's men, money, anything you need, God will. You just see that things are just easy because you have taken it to God in prayer. So yes, that's
Praise the Lord, somebody. Hallelujah. Thank you so much. Lastly, because there's a meeting on this platform in the next 2 minutes. So Joy, your last words for our audience, please. In a minute.
But for our audience today is what has helped me all through my life. Whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. If you are going to do it at all, do it well. If you are not going to do it, don't do it. But if you decide to do an MSc, please do it well. I got mocked, in fact, in this last 1 year. Somebody called me a few ways just because I don't like to take things. I told the person, please don't call me a few ways again. Let's just leave that at that. So I mean, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that I had to do it well. So please, you have come here, you paid how many million naira? When you think of that money, please make sure you do it well. I'm an Igbo woman. It's an investment. If the investment is not bringing money, we'll close the shop. So please, people, let's wait and do it. God bless us.
Amen. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, all our panelists. Honestly, I think it's the funniest one I've ever had. Usually, I'm well behaved. I've been laughing and trying to behave myself, but you guys are so hilarious, and still, yet you're dropping those nuggets. Thank you so much. God bless you, really good. And you've given me loads of your time without getting paid, and probably you canceled some jobs just for this purpose. Honestly, we are grateful. Thank you so much. And from the stable of RCCG, my father's house, standing for Pastor Sam, Pastor Sarah, they're sending their warm appreciation, their prayers are with you. For all our audience, God is going to help you. As you mentioned, you will notice that honestly, we can't do these things ourselves. We've not been able to do it by ourselves. But really, we're leaning on God to help us. That's one. And secondly, we're a community. Join us on School Talk at school talk _MCR. That's our Instagram page, and that's where we'll have subsequent meetings. So thank you very much, everyone. Joy, Lydia, Efe, Jessica, and Agogo, thank you so much. A round of applause to you all, guys. Thank you, and have a wonderful night rest. Bye, everyone. Thank you.